I am not feeling better, but I'm here.
Oh,
I was just doing a powwow with Carrie, and I was telling her that I actually had to put on the sundress because I'm so freaking hot. I was like, besides, I couldn't even handle my life today.
she
So
doesn't.
no, I'm not, but I'm here for y'all. I'm here for the people.
Bye,
How everybody
everybody.
doing? How's everybody? How's everybody? We got Keisha, Shashan, Sharika, April. I know other people will trickle in, but I
Doesn't work anymore. I see that.
I do not want to
It's been not working.
I hear y'all talking, April. I'm gonna mute you real quick. It's okay. It's okay. So welcome to our weekly call. As always, I'm always excited when I get to spend time with you all. It's the best part of my week. This is our monthly expert call, which is even more exciting because what that means is I get to bring my friends, all the people that I love, to the stage to support you in building your business and your children's business. And right now, we spent all of January talking about visibility, right? But we started working on our social media marketing system, because remember, we're all working on building our systems. So it only made sense that I brought my girlfriend, Carrie, Renee Thomas, to check y'all out and to introduce her magic into the room so that you can take that, what you learned, what you started working on, that system you started building, and add some, some real, some different, a different level of visibility to that. So I'm gonna let Carrie kind of show you. She has some slides, so I know she's gonna share with you a little bit more about herself. But I want you to know, and not only is she my friend, my mastermind sister, but she is a speaker and an author. She is an expert that has extensive knowledge in helping visionaries increase their visibility while staying true to themselves. So that's where the authenticity and that like audacious authenticity comes into play, which is why I love her so much, because she is a bold personality, but she is actually very real and very down to earth. And I feel like we're all going to be able to connect with her in one way or the other. Right. So those of you that are like, I don't want to be on camera tomorrow, cut it out. I only want to show my hands. I don't want to show the nail polish or whatever it is. This is your moment to kind of shake all that off. Either be okay with where you're at or be like, okay, I'm ready to, kick it up a notch and do something different. And let's see what Carrie has to teach us. But the bottom line is that she works with some of the best brands in the world, curating and creating visibility plans for their brands, ranging from Subway to YouTube influencers. Yes, ma'am. And we're talking about small businesses, entrepreneurs, anyone that's going anywhere wants Carrie in their pocket to help craft their visibility plan and strategy. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about reels and really anything else that she prepared for us and us specifically, which I'm so excited about. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring Carrie on to the stage to connect with all of us. Hey there.
Hey. Okay, so because we are a smaller group, that means that we can do some curated experiences. So I would love to know, like, what right now are you guys working on in terms of like being more consistent, being more visible? You can either unmute yourself or you can put it in the chat. Does anybody have anything that they're working on for visibility right now?
I'll go. I'm working on LinkedIn for my visibility, and I do have a brand new Facebook page that has no visibility.
How often are you posting on LinkedIn right now?
Why are you trying to embarrass me? I did two today. I mean, this week. That was my goal to get two articles and two posts out there. So I got my two.
Have you ever done video on LinkedIn?
Nope, I run from it.
Okay. Keisha said scaling
Mhm.
um, consistency and visibility. Carter says respark the socials. Love it, love it. So what I want to talk about, and I have slides, but I'm really big on making stuff like super intentional and purposeful and actionable, so you can be able to go and like take action. So I am going to actually not show slides, but I'm gonna write like a few notes so I stay on track myself with the plan that we're gonna come up with. Because of course I can say, okay, like here's all the ways to be consistent and stuff like that and how to create reels. But if like you're at a point where you're trying to like set up the plan, there's some stuff that we have to think about first. And it's some of the stuff that's in the slides. So I'll pick up some stuff, I'll pull some stuff from the slide, but it's being able to like, let's set a plan and set some intention around it. And then look at like, what are ways that we can stay super consistent with you actually leveraging video and things like that. Because like I have a client right now that she literally got 5 speaking events like by posting short form video on LinkedIn. So give me 2 seconds. Let me write my notes. Okay. So the first thing that I think that's really important, and I'm going to share my screen, but I'm going to do it in a blank Canva so I can show you the process. So we'll workshop it. And if anybody has any questions while I'm doing this, like unmute, let's make it super conversational and let's like create some cool wins today. So when you think about creating content, and a lot of time this is why the ideas of like trying to figure out how to be consistent, how to come up with content, how to respark our socials seems so big, is because there's some fundamental things that we have to have in place before we actually can be consistent with content creation. Okay. All right, so your first thing is you have to be able to understand, and I know this is Tamara always talks about this, so that you probably like, oh, I got this down. And you have to understand the customer journey. And what I mean by that is you have to be able to understand, because everything when it comes to content creation is not just posting simply to stay consistent, but it's posting to be able to turn viewers into buyers. So what you always want to understand is what is the things that people need to learn and understand or overcome to be ready to either come into your programs, buy a product, buy a service or things like that. So normally what I tell our clients is there's 2 things that we want to think about. When it comes to customer journey. So you have customer journey, the first thing that you want to think about is, so I like to call this your social media, and then you want to reverse engineer it into any of your, what I call entry points, and then also looking at your core offers. Can you guys put in the chat or unmute and let me know what you guys are selling? Lipstick and nail polish, author spotlights, reading books, youth workshops. Event planning packages, VIP t-shirts, me, and then t-shirts for the kids. Love it, love it. Okay. So if you sell a physical product, you might not have entry points. You might just have your core offer. So I'm gonna put this under your physical products. And then if you're hosting workshops and things like that, I would put this under your entry points. Because how you want to think about entry points is, what is a way that I can bring somebody in to get them a taste test of what I do and how I work. And then there's probably something else that I do on the back end that might be a little bit more deeper work. Is that the case? Can you,
Yes, and I guess also in addition to the workshops, coaching.
oh, cool. So then over here, this is where coaching would pop in. But a lot of times what I tell people is, most people, they like to create social media to, and we're just going to say coaching. Physical products is a little bit different because those are a little bit lower ticket. But a lot of times what you'll see is people will try to sell their coaching directly off of social media, and it doesn't get the results that they're looking for because there's not enough time spent and there's not enough evolution or bridges that move them into being ready for that offer. So that's why having these entry points come into play are so important, is because it creates a simple jump or a simple transition for somebody to be able to get an understanding of what you do, how you do it, and then move into your bigger offers. Okay. Does this make sense for everybody? Does this feel good? Carter, with your author spotlights, is it all just the reading of books?
Yes.
So I would probably put your author spotlights in your entry point place, because I think it could be something that you can expand on later, but having enough people coming into that would be good. And how much do you charge for that normally?
$25.
Perfect. Okay. So then you have to ask yourself, is what things do I need to talk about on social media to prepare people to understand about my author spotlights, to understand about my small physical products, to be able to understand about my workshops and things like that. Because if they can get in there, I can get them over to the other side. So if you sell, I know I saw somebody that did lip gloss and nail polish and t-shirts. Those are going to be considered more smaller ticket physical products, where somebody can make a quick purchase really easy. So you can go straight like to conversion content on that one, and then people will buy. But if you have maybe like a higher ticket offer where maybe you're doing like custom t-shirts that might be maybe like over $100 or $150, now it might be a thought process that might come into play that they might not be ready for that yet. So that's where I put more premium physical products kind of go into that place. All right, so then from there, after you understand customer journey, the next thing that you have to understand is content purpose. And I'm actually going to pull up a slide for this. Okay. So when it comes to content purpose, you have to understand, why do you bother creating content? I don't like to say there's 3 ways to think about content purpose, but these are the questions that you want to make sure you're answering within your content. So if your focus is on brand awareness, and when you have a brand awareness focus, your goal is to be able to become recognizable, for people to be able to look to you as a referral partner, something where like when people see like a logo or see like a design or see a type of video, they know that's you. That is brand awareness. So how you want to think about it in terms of your content. So as you're creating content, what your thought process around brand awareness is, how can I connect with other people? How can I connect with my audience? What are the perfect stories that I can tell to make them see that I get what they're going through, what they're doing, and stuff like that. This also plays a part when you sell physical products, especially when it comes to t-shirts, lip glosses, and nail polish. There's so many different options out there for those things. What are the perfect stories that can make you understand that this nail polish is for this audience? So if you're a part of this audience, this is the product that you need. How can I keep somebody intrigued in my content? How can I make sure that we keep it fun, keep it exciting, keep it innovative? And what education might be necessary for someone to understand how I work and how I do things. So let's say that you do a vegan-based nail polish. You being able to explain the fact that, like, yes, it's a vegan-based nail polish. We use clean ingredients and things like that. That's going to be something that's education that's necessary than just saying, hey, we have nail polish. Same thing with the youth workshops and the empowerment. There's a lot of people that do youth workshops and empowerment. So what education is necessary for them to understand the difference between your youth workshops and your empowerment sessions? How does that feel for everybody?
It makes sense. I'm just trying to process how to present it, but it makes sense.
It does. Mhm.
Once I go through a couple of these, we can actually workshop to figure out like what type of content you guys should be doing. But I just wanted to hit on some fundamental things so then we can start workshopping content ideas and stuff, which is one of my faves. The next piece is conversions. So I like to say offers over $150, you will have to combine a brand awareness and conversion focus together, because there's going to be education that's needed and necessary for someone to actually say, yes, I'm ready to buy this offer. So when it comes to straight conversions, so this is what I was talking about with the teacher spotlight, with the t-shirts, the lipsticks, the nail polishes. This is what you want to think about. What mindset shifts do they need to overcome? So let's use the example of the author spotlights. What do I need to think as a parent to feel like I want to make sure that, or as like an author, to make sure that like somebody else should be reading my book, or I should be having this book read to my child rather than me reading it? What is the thing that I need to understand or need to shift my thinking around? The second one, what objections are they going to have? What are the things that are going to come up to maybe stop them from saying, oh, maybe this might not be for me? This one is probably the most important one. You've probably heard the know, like, and trust factor. I like to say the know, like, and trust factor and phase of business is over. We're moving into the seen, heard, and understood factor. And that is a factor of making sure that your audience feels seen, heard, and understood. Do they see that what I struggle with? Do they hear my problems? And do they understand that the fears and the overwhelm and the emotions that come up around this topic? Next one, am I answering the questions that they have? Am I literally going into like, so my background's in psychology, so a lot of the stuff I do is psychology based. So understanding, like, going into the psyche of the person and asking like, what are the things that they need to hear to make sure they feel seen, heard, and understand? What are the questions that they have where they'll be like, was she like peeking through my window last night? That is the thought process we want to have when it comes to conversion type content. When it comes to physical products, this is still should be intertwined. So we have a client right now that's in the midst of her launch for one of her physical products. And one of the things that we looked at is how can we make sure that we're overcoming these mindset shifts and these things around it. For her, there was a situation where she talked about the product literally a year ago, and it just is finally getting released this month. So we wanted to make sure one of the biggest objections that people are going to have is it really coming out. So she spent all week this week, because she's doing a 4-week launch, of people really saying it's actually coming out. And here's the boxes, here's all the stuff to let you know it's finally here. Because we understand that the objections that they're going to have is, I'm not going to sign up for a wait list again, knowing that it's not there, it might not happen again. And then the next one is connections. So Carter, I think this would be great for you. Doing the U camps, I think this would be a great focus for you, is being able to start looking at how can I build connections and collaborations by leveraging short form video and short form video. So one, have I shared my mission? Have I created content where my mission has been fully verbalized in video? Have I called out my shot of the people that I want to collaborate with? Do I actively collaborate with other people? There's people that are on what I call my hit list. Am I doing stuff to actively collaborate with them? How can I use my content as a connection source? Is there a way that I can maybe remix their posts as a way that I can talk about them in my content so they see that I want us to be friends and I want us to connect? Those are going to be your content purposes. And then the last thing, I'm just going to pull this up real quick, is what I like to call the video magic triad. And in the video magic triad, the idea is being able to understand that if you want to be able to create consistent quality content, you have to make sure that you're following a plan each and every time. My dad was in the military, and one of the things that my dad used to always say is piss poor planning equals piss poor performance. So you always want to make sure you have a plan and you want to work the plan every time and not always try to reinvent the wheel. I feel like a lot of times when it comes to content creation, people will be like, I think this could be the circle could be a triangle. I think this wheel could be a triangle. And then they'll go through all of these cycles and they'll be like, oh no, the wheel needs to be a circle. But if they just said, hey, the wheel is going to be a circle and I understand the wheel is a circle, and they just did that work, they wouldn't feel like this overwhelm that happens. So I like to say this is a framework that needs to be in place if you want to be able to create a large amount of content in a small amount of time. So the first piece is content. And when it comes to content, we already talked about purpose, ideas, and anatomy. And then you want to make sure you set a date and make it grand. We talked about purpose, being able to understand, are you focusing on brand awareness? Are you focused on conversion? Are you focusing on connection? The next one is ideas and anatomy. And we'll get into this when we workshop in a second. Is being able to understand, understand the anatomy of a short form video. Sorry, guys. My little Target DoorDash is hidden. They're like, this not in stock, Carrie. Okay. So when it comes to the anatomy of short form video, there's 4 components that you want to think about. The first component is going to be your conversation starter or your hook. When you think about a conversation starter or a hook, this is going to be the thing that's going to make somebody want to lean in and be like, what? Or really? Or I need to revisit that type thing. So a great example of a conversation or a hook, a conversation starter is going to be, there's 3 things in your business that you're doing wrong that you would probably not even know. First, you're going to be like, what do you mean there's 3 things I'm doing in my business that's wrong that I probably don't know? Like that's going to be the thing that's going to make somebody lean in and want to ask a question, which means that's creating a conversation. The next one is being able to express your why and have a power statement. I like to say a power statement is going to be an optional post, an optional piece in your short form video. I like to say when it comes, and it's great. And what a power statement is a nice small 10-second introduction that lets somebody know who you are. Because what I always tell people is short form video right now is one of the only ways outside of paid ads to get in front of a new audience that doesn't follow you. So because they're not following you, you being able to say, hey, if you don't know me, my name is Carrie, Carrie Thomas. I help people show up on short form video authentically. Being able to put that in there in my video, not at the front, but in that middle piece, I would say like that 40% of that video section creates a great way for somebody to be like, oh, Carrie, I need to make sure I remember that name. The next one is understanding your situational and foundational content. And then the next one is your call to action, some type of thing like a comment, love in the comments below, hit the link in the bio, make sure you like, follow, and share this with a friend. Whatever that action you want them to take, you want to make sure you put that in your videos. Okay, types of content, foundational content and situational content. So when it comes to foundational content, these are going to be your intellectual property and how you look at what you do and your secret sauce to your business. When it comes to foundational content, I like to say there are 5 different content wells that you want to make sure that you're pulling from. The first content well is what I call your strategic content. This is going to be your secret sauce content. This is going to be your intellectual property, the things that only you talk, the way that you talk about your niche. The second one is resourceful content. This is content that I like to say provides somebody with a quick win. The third piece of content is heart content. This type of content is really solidified in your purpose and why you're doing what you're doing. All things you content is where you get to share your personal life and be able to figure out ways to be able to tie that back into your business. And the last one is client experience. This is going to be your offers, your case studies, your testimonials, your core values. So all of this is your foundational content. I like to say you want to be able to make sure you're infusing this content into your content plan all the time, because this is the content that's going to really help with conversions quicker. The second one is what I call situational content, or what we like to call inside of our business, which is phone a friend. So I like to think of this as like the news. This is that breaking news content. So you're fully focused. The foundational content is the news that comes on every day. And they're talking about the weather, they're talking about current events, you're hitting on all of the pieces. But then there's always that moment where you have breaking news. That is situational content. What is the stuff that you know that you need to get out based off of somebody might have asked you this content? You heard something that was trending in your niche and you want to make sure you talk about it. What is that thing that you know that is situational, but it's probably going to really move the needle in your business and really hit on those key pain points that really is making sure your people feel seen, heard, and understood? Okay. This one is probably the most important piece. And I just say you have to set a date and make a grand announcement. So when you set that date, you need to literally set a date on the calendar and say, I am creating content March 26th. And then you need to make sure that everyone that can throw wrenches in your plan knows that content creation is happening on March 26th. Because if you don't do that, the content won't get done, because right now, content creation is not at the top of your list of your favorite things to do. So whenever the wrench throwers come out, you will be able to be like, heck shit, sorry, can't do content. I got this wrench I got to fix. So being able to say, hey, let me set the date and make a grand announcement, and let me figure out ways to make sure that I get this content done in this allotted time. Okay, the next one is confidence. I like to say that preparation breeds confidence.
Shoshana got. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't know I was muted.
Oh, you're fine. So when it's about confidence, being able to create your optimal conditions. And I like to say the first piece of optimal conditions is being able to determine your space, what I like to call your content corner. So I like to say when it comes, especially, and this is dealing with talking head videos, but if you're doing something with your kids or if y'all are making things or doing stuff, you just want to have a space and you always want to make sure that it frames your face, that it represents your personality and it gets you excited. So whatever that space is, like no matter like what you do, like you just want to have a space in your house, a space in the backyard, a space that you know you can go and create content and that you can use it each and every time. So here's some examples of some spaces that I've used. And this one is one that I like to say is one of my favorites. Thank you. Is you want to make sure that you wear clothes and things that actually make you pop on camera. I just say it's really important to not to spend so much time doing content and then wearing the wrong clothes and the wrong colors and people just swipe right past it. So you always want to make sure you wear colors and stay away from certain patterns to make sure that like people stop and actually look at your content because you spent so much time creating it. So the way to do this is being able to understand your undertones. Do you have a warm undertone, a neutral undertone, or a cool undertone? And understanding that undertones go for all shades. So you have your cools, your neutrals, and your warms. And then you want to make sure based off your undertone, you're wearing the colors that are actually going to have you pop on camera. So if you're cool, these are the colors that you want to stay with because you literally look amazing at it. Same thing with your neutrals, same thing with your warms. And then I like to say patterns, do's, and don'ts. So I love patterns. Clearly, I'm over here with like a crazy pattern shirt. I love patterns like the best of them. But when it comes to short form video, and this is going to be your portrait mode video where it's longer, you want to stay away from more bolder patterns because it actually takes up space and you get lost in the video. So if you want to do patterns, you want to do more smaller, simple patterns like this rather than big stripes or big flowers. Here's some examples of some before and afters. This is Day. I like to say most of my clients love black, and I literally push them out of black so they have a little colorful Carrie corner with colors for them. So with Day, this is her in black. She was actually selling her coaching program. People were just swiping right past it. We changed her positioning to create the framing. And then we started adding in this cream and this orange to really have her pop on camera. And her face is now the central point of attention. Same thing with Brittany. Brittany, we still gave her the black, but we added in this pop of pink. And then we also changed her positioning. Positioning, people, like what I like to say is people are nosy. And when you have weird angles, people want to know what's happening. So even with this one, we're trying to figure out what's behind her. We're trying to figure out where she is because of the angles. So being able to have clean angles and that framing, it keeps people from being distracted. Also, one thing I like to say, when you're planning your outfits, you want to do one outfit for every 7 to 10 videos you plan to batch. Next thing is about creation. One thing that I like to say is you always want to make sure that you wake up with main character energy when you're jumping into your recording days. The way that I like to do this is I like to do a day of confidence, a day of recording confidence boost. This way that I'm getting like that extra boost of confidence. Like, okay, I'm ready. I'm a main character. I'm talent. Let's go. And then one thing that I like to say is I do not use scripts. I do not use teleprompters because I've learned that if I trust my craft, because at the end of the day, I'm an expert at what I do. If I trust my craft and I let the words flow the way that I need to flow, if I make my small notes, just like exactly what we did right today, if I make my small notes to kind of keep me on track, I'm going to trust my craft and know that the words will flow the way they need to flow. Also, you want to make sure you put your main character armor on. I'm not saying that you need to have a full face of makeup. I'm not saying that you need to like have like extravagant outfits. I'm not saying even go get your makeup done that day. If that's what lights you up, go for it. But don't let that be what stops you. Okay. So I am about to open us up for questions and questions as well as content idea layouts. Tamara, how much time do we have left?
We have about 22 minutes.
Perfect.
We're good. We're good. Whatever you say goes. Come on, friends. Don't be shy. All right. What questions do we have? Let me change my view. Actually, turn my camera on. I didn't realize I didn't have my camera on. Okay. Questions on the floor. I'm going to change it. If anybody's here that can come on camera, that would be awesome. Considering we're talking about visibility. All right, what questions do you have?
Questions. Let me turn my camera back on.
Hi,
Hey, April.
Hello. My question is how to get followers. I personally am not a big social media person. Like I would scroll through Facebook, Instagram, and I would just look. I have never been someone who really posts. So now trying, because we have this new business, I'm the one do the lip gloss and nail polish. So just for me trying coming up with content is a struggle for me. Like I'm trying to turn it over to my daughter because this was her idea for cosmetics, and she's 10. So I kind of also I don't know what 10-year-olds think these days.
Exactly.
So I kind of wanted to get ideas from her, but like right now, I think we have like 17 followers, like on our Instagram and Facebook. So just trying to get more followers.
How often are you posting?
I can say I can have a good week where we post like two times a week. That's my goal. Is try to post at least twice a week. But at this point, I really don't know what should I be posting.
Okay, and then with the 2 to 3 times a week when it's a good week, how many of those are videos?
Maybe one.
Okay.
I do more pictures than videos.
Okay, so what I would say is I tell people like don't worry about the followers. Don't worry about the followers. Worry about your consistency of your videos. So you should be posting at least 2 to 3 videos a week because that's what's going to get you in front of more people.
Okay.
So because you're doing lip gloss, which is actually like I like to say that stuff is like probably the easier ones, it's like start showing the process.
Okay.
A great example of a physical product brand that I adore. I'm gonna put her in the chat. She literally blew up out of nowhere. She does have really great aesthetics, but really what makes her stuff so special is she shares the process. Everything she does is about sharing the process of what she's doing and why she's doing it. And like the packaging of orders, the making of things, like everything is a piece. But you have to be consistent. Because if you go 1 week, 2 to 3, the next 2 weeks you don't do anything and then you try to come back, this is what is causing the algorithm not to see you again. Because right now they don't know you exist.
Okay. So I'm sure the making of the process of the product be consistent. Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
Carrie, I have a question. I'm doing an after school program and I would like to kind of show the process. Um, but I can't show the children necessarily because I don't have
Yeah,
waivers.
yeah.
And as I'm contracted, like, you know, the Department of Rec can come and take their pictures and post to their website and tag me, but I can't take any of my own. How does that
Okay, so
work?
so what I would probably do is I would do recaps of your setting up and setting down, and then the recaps of the day. And then also
Okay.
like when you're working with the adults, like the parents and stuff like that. I also would see if you could start looking at waivers with some of the people that your parents that are coming in and say, hey, we're trying to get more eyeballs on this organization, on this this after school program. Could you sign a waiver if it's okay for us to do some like social content where we might have your kids in the background, but we're not really doing the children, we're more doing the experience.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? I say questions where I shine.
I have another one if nobody else does. With regard to coaching, you said you don't necessarily sell the coaching. So, in other words, I'm going to sell the gap, right? So, why they need me to be their coach.
So tell me about your coaching.
So, I don't have a niche just yet. So, I'll be just a general, life coach. But I guess ultimately, my goal would be I'm I'm interested in relationship coaching. Because it's not, covered through medical plans. And I figured that would be easy and something I can deal with based on experience.
Yeah.
So
So what
I
I
would,
so one of the things I always say, and I know Tamara probably talks about this too, is that you want to make sure that when you're doing any type, you always want to reverse engineer. So what's going to be really important for you before you start creating the content is understanding the pain points and the current situation of the people that you want to serve. So then when you create content, you're speaking to those needs to make sure they feel seen, heard, and understood.
okay. Okay.
I have a question of
Yeah.
and opinions wanted. Um, so I did a video of a recording of myself doing a guided imagery practice, like a guided imagery training.
Okay.
And during the recording, there's like one particular clip of I just did one long recording and then like edited out the parts that I didn't want. And the particular part that's just like I messed up what I was gonna say, completely came out of character and was like making all kinds of faces, and it's like hilarious to watch. And a couple people was like, you should like post that as like something funny. And I'm just wanting opinions, like, because it's
Yeah. Yeah, like so there was a day, and I don't this is not something that I do often, but like I had a lot of people reaching out to me and asking me, and they were like, Carrie, like I feel like content for you is so easy. So of course, like you can do it with no problem. And I was like, some days, but like some days it's hot mess city. So I did, let me share my screen with sound. I did these behind the scene videos and I posted some of them. And it was funny because when I did it, the amount of people that were like, oh, like this is like it's natural, like I'm not crazy. Like now I finally feel like I'm not crazy. And I'm like, no, like I have the same moment. Behind the scenes of content creation. Dun dun dun. Okay. So first of all, I am not content prepared. I did not know that I was creating content at all. It has been on my list all month since the first, but I just I didn't want to do it. I've been doing other stuff. I'm busy. The funny part, these are all the excuses that our clients even give us around doing content. Carrie, I'm so busy. I have other things to do. I'm not prepared. I don't know what to wear. What are my topics? All of the things that stop them, but I knew that I need to create content because we have a workshop coming up at the end of the month, which is about 15 days away, and I knew that I needed this content for that. So what am I doing? Creating content, and I'm creating about 25 short form videos. We've already done 10 in about 15 minutes. I have my support system, Crystal. I'm like, Crystal, be my emotional support person today. Be me for other people, because I didn't want to do it. So you'll see my process. I literally have my Post-it notes. I have my camera. I have a ring light right here. And this is our makeshift content area. So we're just showing kind of like this wall here. So you're kind of able to see that right there. So that's our makeshift content area. But yeah. So stuff like that people like, and like this video, because I posted this is one of the videos we posted, like I got so much engagement. They were like, so you struggle too? I'm like, yeah. Like if I didn't, this was not a wake up and main character energy day. Like it was not in the cards. There was no grand announcement created. There was wrenches being thrown in all the directions that day. But like I knew I needed to do it, and I needed people to see like even in non-perfect situations, you can still do it. So like for you being able to show like you can still like do these imagery sessions, even if it doesn't go exactly as planned, is exactly what people need to see, because a lot of times when people see you as an expert, they feel like, of course, it's easy for you because you're an expert at it, but it's not going to work for me in my lifestyle.
Okay.
How's that feel?
I think those kind of things make you feel more human, come across as more human, relatable as well, that like you didn't nail it, even if who you're talking to is not about making video, it's still like, oh, she messed up. That's fine. Or,
Yeah.
and was able to make fun of herself or enjoy the moment, whatever that,
Yeah, because like even with these videos, like I think what was funny is like I think the funniest part about these videos is that my corny side came out that doesn't normally get shown. Like, cause I was being so corny. Like there was one I was like I created like a one more to go, like two more to go song that I was using like right before every video, and it was like hilarious that people were and they were like, "We've never seen this side of you." People who know me see this side of me because it comes out, but it's not always shown online. So for people to see that, they were like, "Oh, like we care." Like, no, Carrie is corny. Okay, she says that, but I never saw it. She's quite corny.
Carrie, can you tell us a little bit about so I love the idea of wake up with main character energy, right? So that's like how you hype yourself up. I love that. And I love the picture of you jumping in the green jumpsuit. That was cute. The green pants set. The other thing is like, can you talk to us a little bit about, I forgot what I was originally going to say, so I have something else to say. This whole idea of like, I know you talked about like color palette and clothes and things like that, but some of us are just like, we don't want to do it. So we're not about to pick out no clothes to do it because we don't want to do it. So like, what is the bare minimum? Like if I don't want to do a whole face of makeup, I might put on eyelashes, I might put on eyebrows, but I guess, or maybe you could, so it's two sides of it. Cause it's like, if I have to do it and be okay and like do all the things, whatever all the things are for us individually, so I can shoot and get 50 reels or 20 reels. Okay, got it, worth it. But some of us do all the things and we barely squeak out one video, and then we're just like, forget it. That took the whole Sunday afternoon. I'm not ever doing it again.
And one thing that I would say is like when you come into those situations of like I feel like it took a whole afternoon for me to create one video, is because you're setting an expectation that isn't realistic. Like you have created and a lot of times this happens when you try to script stuff. So like in your head, like you have an idea of all the things that you want to make sure you say. So every time that you go through it and you don't say it right, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to start over. And then you go start over. And then you do it again. You're like, oh my gosh, I have to start over. And you just start over. And then you keep going this cycle. But if you realize that I'm actually an expert at what I do, like when a client comes to me, when like somebody comes and asks me a question, I can rattle off an answer and they'll be like, that's why that's why she gets the big bucks from me. Like that moment is important to remember when you do video too. Because you're right, like you rattle off every other time, but when you turn on the video, you forget that you're an expert. So that's why I always say you have to trust your craft. And if you need like a couple post-it notes of like some key things you want to make sure you cover that. But like when I was doing this, it was funny when I was doing this, there was a moment where I the video went like in a whole nother direction. And then at the end, I was like, that wasn't a plan, but we're just gonna let it flow like it flowed. Let's go. Next video. Bam. Like, because I was just like, I'm not gonna go back and try to fix it because if I do, it's just gonna create this expectation of what I feel like it should be rather than just letting it be what it's gonna be. And if it doesn't work, guess what? You have another video to post next in 2 days.
That's helpful. Yeah, I like that. The does anybody else have any questions?
I do.
Go ahead, Keisha.
Because this is my struggle, I think, overall. I think I just kind of need to detox, and this is what I've tried to do before, is detox from social media so that I can transition into business because social media for me had always been like entertainment. Like I would scroll through, like, scroll, keep liking. Um, and then I see so many people who I know in real life that just aren't who they pretend to be on social media. And it kind of grinds my gears. And I know it's not my business, but and it goes to that done is better than perfect. Like I feel like I'm not going to do it until it is perfect because I don't need to be or show up as that person that everybody else is pretending to be online. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. But one of the things that I talk about, and I'm running this challenge in April, but I always say that like right now you're in a toxic relationship with your content. Like right now, like it's not doing what it need to do. You're not doing what you need to do. Like y'all are in like not the best relationship with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So so what you have to do, and it's funny, I'm gonna use you as a great example because you literally just said it, is in a relationship, one of the like when I talk to some of my friends that like I have a couple clients that are relationship things, and one of the things they say is like you have to set up intentions and expectations for each other. Like that's one of the biggest things you
Mm-hmm.
have to do. Like you have to write down what you want from each other. Same thing what do you want from content? What does content gonna need from you? And until
Okay.
you do that, just like in a relationship, if you just go into a relationship with these internal expectations of
Right.
what you hope that content will realize that you want, but you never told them, it's never gonna work. And then you get into this like love-hate relationship, and you be like, you know what, I hate social media hate me. We just ain't it's just not a thing for me.
Right.
And then you go hop on to something else. But if you sit and you say, okay, like this is my expectations. Let's figure out like this is what I need to do. This is what you need to do for me. And with us working together, this what should be created. Now you're starting to do things with intention. So for me, I literally am a visibly person. I'm on social media an hour a day because I set the expectation that like I'm not on social media to scroll. I'm on
Mm-hmm.
social media to create. I know that like I build my content strategy once every 90 days and I work that strategy for 90 days. And then after that, I look and see what worked, what didn't, what could I have done better, what could content have done better. Like, let's get it together, Instagram. Like having those conversations and then going and being like, okay, like let's set another goal. But if I go on social media and be like, okay, I need to post something, one, my emotions are extremely high because I'm doing it in the like with a visceral
Mm-hmm.
response to kind of hurry up and get it done. So when it doesn't go well, I'm irritated. And then I'm like, Sarah down there, she not even doing what she really doing, and she got all the likes in the comments.
Yeah, and that's not my business. I'm going to work harder on that because what you said makes sense. So I'm going to try to be intentional.
Yeah, it's all about intentionality, and it goes back to what my dad said: "Is piss poor planning equals piss poor performance." Like PPP was PPP. Like if you don't plan for success, like you're planning to fail. Like literally, I was 6 years old. My dad was like, "Piss poor plan goes piss poor performance. Your lemonade sale didn't do well because you didn't promote it, Carrie." I'm like, "Okay, I'll do better next week."
I love it.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Of course.
That makes a ton of sense. I love that intentionality piece. That is so good. Love it, love it. Does anybody else need clarification on any pieces that Carrie presented today? Any questions you have about specifics? Anything. Carrie, I sent everybody a message in Voxer. I was like, we are live. Get in here and get what you need. Come get what you need. Come get what you need. Don't let the moment pass. Reach out and grab it.
I have a question.
All right. So hey, Sasha.
What does the person do who doesn't like content creating, not like pictures or posts, but like specifically around video content creating is not your thing. You don't want to learn the craft. Like, what's the path there? Because I just don't want to learn another skill set. I want to focus on what I'm good at.
So
And it takes a lot of hours to master that. I'm a product maker. I'm not a content creator.
So this is what I'm gonna say, and this is said with all the hearts and loves and Care Bear flowers and everything. Like it's almost one of those situations, especially when it comes to like you have to move with the times. So short for like if you want to like you can either spend money on ads and get in front of new audiences that way, or make videos and get in front of new audiences the free way. It's up to you, but you have to choose one or the other. Because like short form video right now is the only organic way to connect with an audience that doesn't follow you.
Thank you.
Of course. And like what I will say when it comes to video, it's not about orchestrations. Like it's like you don't have to have like these highly produced video. You can do a nice little throw some trending sound on it and do a bomb caption, and you're off to the races. But you have to work with what the algorithm is telling you. And the algorithm is saying we're only pushing video to new audiences. We're not pushing like images to new audiences.
And you're absolutely right. Like my most engagements come from things like that people love to be interacted with.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to figure out what's the middle ground because realistically, I'm not going to master that skill set.
You don't need to master it.
But what I find out that's doable for me is like when I'm doing events or if I'm like making a product, doing like a couple of minutes in the process, like you said, that gets a lot of engagement.
And that's where you start.
Doing like a live, or doing like a live of, my table when I'm at an event or something.
Yeah,
like that's doable
great.
For me. But
yeah,
like
and then
videoing and then editing and stuff, I don't know anything about that world.
But so what I like to say is like, I feel like a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we feel like we can just start running. But like if you go back to like, this is funny, I can find like this analogy works with because everybody's like parents. If you go back to like when your child was born, your child literally wasn't like didn't start out talking and walking. Like they had to like learn the skills. They had to learn motor skills. They had to learn how to crawl before they walk. They had to learn how to walk before they ran. But I feel like in entrepreneurship, we feel like we just need to run immediately. And the thing is, like, you just have to get started. And the more you get started and consistent with that, you're going to pick up skills to do better. But that process is actually what makes people buy into you rather than you starting perfect. Because I tell people, go back and look at some of these videos from 2019. They were not good. They were really bad. Like my eyes were like the camera here, my eyes all the way over here. I'm like fumbling and bumbling. I'm like, it was not a good look. But I kept doing it over and over and over again. And now I can just rattle off a video and it's great. But it took almost 5 years for that to happen.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that point. Because we always, it feels social media and just these internet streets make us feel like it should be an instantaneous, happening. And that's
Yeah,
just
like
not.
I was talking to one of my clients who has like she spoke at this event. She has hundreds of thousands of followers and all this stuff, and she was like everybody was shocked that like all the people that were on the panel who had hundreds of thousands of views, I mean followers, all still worked a 9 to 5. And I was like, and she was like, yeah, like a lot of people, she was like, Carrie, a lot of people still work 9 to 5. And I'm like, and then this is me, I'm like, I haven't worked a 9 to 5 since 2020. And I'm always feeling like I'm behind the curve. But then if I look in the grand scheme of things, like I've been able to technically take care of myself and like live comfortably in my business with just working my business. But I feel like when you look at like when like me and you are in the mastermind and we're like these people like, oh, we had $1 million month, and we're like, what am I doing with myself? Well, like I just need to like pack it on up. Like we have those moments and it's natural, but just remembering like in the grand scheme of things, entrepreneurship and like being in business is like not for the faint of hearts and not for like so being able to know that like you're already ahead of like most of the population, and then like after that like you're doing a good job, just like go with the flow and grow.
Go with the flow and grow. Put it on a t-shirt.
Got you.
Put it on a t-shirt. Yes. I love it.
I like
That's
it.
so good. I love it. All right. So y'all got it all out? Sharika's like, yes. So does everybody have an idea of how you might be able to do something different, even if you take something away? One thing, 2 things, 3 things that you can take away. Just let me know in the chat. Unmute yourself. Carrie, while they're doing that, can you tell us where we can find you, how they can follow you, drop whatever you got in the chat. You could also send me anything that you want me to put inside the portal or inside the Facebook group for them. I really appreciate it so they can connect with you, follow you, and absorb all your content.
I sent you guys my Instagram. Next month we're launching a challenge call for the love of visibility, and it's all about rekindling your relationship with content. So
I love it.
yeah. So it's funny. It's like have a love affair with content. It's like super cute. So once that launches, I'll let you know so you can put it in the portal for the peeps.
Love it.
And so,
Thank you
yeah.
so much. I appreciate that. Everybody good? They said yes, thank you. Yes, yes, thank you. All right, cool. I appreciate y'all. So Carrie, thank you so much for being our expert this month. Let me change my view because I feel like I need to be able to see your face. Thank you for being our expert. I appreciate you bringing it all to the table. Listen, I want the people to know that this is a big deal for me, right? Because I usually like to keep my people private. You meet people and you be loving people and you be like, I ain't telling nobody because y'all gonna be trying to touch her. Seriously, like Carrie shows up. If y'all, she's chilling right now. She got like she's half lit with the hair over to the side. This chick, when did we first meet? We met in Disney.
Yeah, at Disney, yeah.
We're both speakers at the same conference at Disney.
Yeah.
Disney World. It was amazing. She was like, ah! And it was just like energy, voice, va va voom, just all of the things. And if you ever meet somebody that every 5 minutes you see them and you're like, did you change your clothes again? That's Carrie. So when she talk about wear the right thing, I was like, girl, please, we wear a black t-shirt and we're gonna show up and do what we can. Because Miss over here got on all the bright colors every 64 seconds. I was like, did you just turn your skirt into a shirt? What's going on here? She's like, I just had to go freshen up. I was like, oh my God, I can't. But I
If
will.
you got the pieces, you gotta wear them. You gotta wear the pieces. You gotta wear the good pieces.
That is Carrie, exactly. So y'all know I'm telling the truth because Sharika knows Carrie too. So anyways,
I was gonna ask you all. So my niece, that's my niece, 20 years old. And I'm like, how did she get that many followers? I don't even think she knows 10,000 people.
Listen,
And
I have some, but you might not want to hear them, Auntie.
I'm just confused. Right. And I'm like, I don't know where these people are coming from on her page. And I'm like, Mackenzie, can you post so-and-so? But I think I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah.
Listen,
No, it's, yeah.
You got to show.
It's funny because when people see, like every time I show my slide deck, people are like, how many clothes do you have?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I love shopping. Shopping brings me lots of joy. I just reorganized my closet and it was like, I go in them and I'm just like happy.
Listen, you have to do what makes you happy.
Like,
Carrie doesn't have any human children, but you have Winston.
where is you? Come here, son.
So Carrie's a semi-new mother. So yes, hi Winston.
Clearly he stays with the fits too.
And you all guess why I've never met the puppy? But do y'all want to know why I know the puppy's name? Because she talks about the puppy on social media. It's built into the content. He's built into the content plan. The shirt.
But he's like, and it's funny because like my mom always cracks jokes because like he has an Instagram. It's Sir Winston Takes Denver. And one thing she said, she's like, Winston Instagram is so funny because like he's so shady. So it's always the side eyes and like the look backs at you and all these that like really just like bring the message like I'm not here for it and like go off and do what you need to do and just
Mom, go away. Like right now?
Yeah.
I want to look at the ladies.
Say hey to the people, Winston.
Oh my goodness. I love it. Oh. All right, girl. But thank you for being here. I just wanted to share a little bit of a personal touch so they can see your other side of your personality. Not that it did not come through in your beautiful slides. But thank you so much again for being here. We appreciate you. Y'all go follow Carrie and soak up all the rest of the goodness that she got. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Hope you all are amazing. I am going to bed.
Yes, please go to bed.
Talk to y'all
Thank you guys so much.
Night, everyone.